I woke up to an empty bed. I took a walk to clear my head. I wished you were there instead, but then I shook it off. What the hell did I used to do?
As old as the human race itself, art has been developed to embed wider societal commentaries in various ways. Through this, art has become one of the most fundamental and sought-after pillars in our society. Specifically within the education system, the arts still retain false stigmatism that deters the creative youth from pursuing a career in the arts. We spoke to Dr. Andrew Elliott, a senior lecturer in media and cultural studies, to get his view on how important keeping the arts alive really is.
So we've been seeing a sustained attack on media studies and film studies for the last 3 or 4 decades, suggesting that it's somehow the easy degree or the Mickey Mouse degree, when in fact we know at the same time that these are some of the most important degrees in addressing some of the most challenging problems that we have. And part of that challenge of the world that we live in is something that we're seeing in the 21st century, which is the change in employment, the change in the kinds of jobs that people will do. So nowadays, someone starting university this year, the job that they will do in the next 10 years probably doesn't exist now. But I remember even when I was at secondary school, being discouraged from pursuing film studies because I'd be much better suited to languages, which was where I was pushed, because that was much more pragmatic and they got their head around that.
We also spoke to Mikey Murray, a senior lecturer in film production, to gain further insight into arts within education.
When I was at university, in the library, one of the toilet paper dispensers said, "Film and media degree, please help yourself," on it. And I think that's kind of always been the kind of the joke about doing creative subjects, is that it's not a real career. I think traditionally a lot of people maybe don't see artistic courses as a way to make a living. I think they see it as a vocational thing or something that you would do in your spare time, like painting or making films is not something that you can make money out of. I know that we still have parents who come on open days who are kind of like, how is my son or daughter going to make a living doing this? And that is their main concern, is that they want to know that they're going to be financially viable.
In an age of new technology, creative fields and resources, it would seem that one of our most traditional lifelines is falling into obscurity.
We have seen kind of a move away from some of those creative or arts-based subjects saying, oh, well, you'll never get a job in those. But actually, the same thing that equips you for a job in a specific sector will also equip you for a job in any kind of sector at all. So I think there's a huge value in arts and humanities degrees in asking questions, and that's something that employers are looking for. More and more over the last decade, we've seen people suggesting that the pure and only purpose of education is to go into a good job, to go into X particular career path. And that's simply not the case. The whole point of education, from its beginnings in classical Greece to its existing form in the university today, is about expanding the mind. It's about asking new questions. It's about challenging the world that we live in.
In recent years, arts courses have been the first to lose their funding, causing many creative subjects to be taken away from the curriculum. Every 9 in 10 students say their school has received budget cuts. 4 in 10 schools say they have reduced timetable lessons as a result of cuts, and 1 in 10 schools say they rely on donations from their parents. 90% of public elementary schools have neither a dance or a drama teacher. 50% of the poorest public elementary schools don't have an art room. 30% of public elementary schools have no art classes whatsoever.
So as a filmmaker as well, I like to make content that has something to say about the world that we live in. So to me that's just as important as, finding a cure for some disease, because I'm actually hopefully helping other people to engage in art and feel better about themselves, or to realise something that they perhaps haven't thought about before. Or I know that art does help in the same ways, because art is a hugely therapeutic part of life. Cutting the arts is kind of something that is happening across the board in high schools and stuff. A lot of art courses are being cut from curriculum, but that's got a huge effect on how happy we feel, because I think that a lot of people use art as an outlet for happiness and to just make them understand the world better.
I woke up to an empty bed. I took a walk to clear my head. I wished you were there instead, but then I shook it off. What the hell